Well, Darren, I think the hottest day of the year, and a 1-1 draw, two very committed, very well organised teams. I mean, what's your take on that game?
Yeah, no, but very similar to that. Good. I think all them sort of games where they're playing against, good teams are playing against each other, always going to be very, very tight. I would assume that Solihull would have thought they'd have added maybe at least one more. I thought the chance first half was a really good chance for them. Warburton that was offside, so I think they'll probably feel a bit hard done by with that one, because that was a close call, that one. But the amount of chances, in particular, the second half. But Wilkinson has to me, the clearest chance of the game with the header. The clearest chance of the game is the penalty with Armand. But Wilkinson has a wonderful chance from a header that I would expect him to score. So I feel that we could have won the game, but we didn't. So all the chances in the world don't change the outcome unless you take them.
And going 1-0 down to teams who have been doing very well organised, is always a big challenge, and then the missed penalty. So what was the feeling at half time? What was the message at half time?
No, we were just disappointed with the speed of things, but what everyone has to understand, and I know our supporters understand this because they're very good with things like this, but when a team employs a deep line defence, the whole concept of that, especially away from home, is to frustrate and anger, provoke, and to try and elicit an emotional response that's not conducive to constructive play. And they did that, and they did really, really well. And our team is not ready yet to implement that over 90 minutes as efficiently as I thought we did second half. And we just moved it a bit slow, and it was a bit boring up. It was very tedious. Again, was sat back into a back five straight away, and we'll have to be better at that. But I thought the players learned very well from that first half. Learned and made different decisions second half. But of course, we help each other with, and I thought it was much improved, much more like us. But because of our imbalance at the minute, we're never really able to implement that over 96, 97 minutes. We're only at the moment able to do that, I'd say, for an hour, maybe in a game. But that'll improve as time comes, working with the players, the different attributes that we have now, and of course the availability of good players that we have missing.
And you're talking about the availability of good players. I mean, Jermaine Anderson had another long stint. Manny Oyeleke was on for much of the match. You talk a little bit about imbalance. Where's the imbalance, do you think, in that?
We've got one centre forward.
Right.
One winger.
Yeah.
So
I get your point.
August was an imbalance, obviously, in midfield. That now seems to, but we're worried about Emmanuel coming off with his calf. He's got a problem with his calf. So, and then what happens is when you have that imbalance and you really want to use them qualities, Oyeleki's a proper player, very good player. You have to push them back into the team. Sometimes that can be detrimental. That might have been detrimental to Manny today, especially in the heat. But and Jermaine, with Jermaine's having his pre-season now. He's played 30 minutes and 45 minutes in 7 days. He looked far stronger today than he did last week. And I think if we would have known, despite our research and analysis, if we'd have known that defence would have been that deep, Jermaine is the best player to play from the start. But Jermaine couldn't have done more than 45 today in any way, shape or form. So, it was important that we had his qualities on the bench, and I thought he did very well second half in collecting the ball from Moss and staying on the ball, and he's super strong and athletic. And I thought he did very well in taking us further up the pitch without us having to play, as long. So, his qualities would have been great from the outset, but in time we'll be able to use them.
As you say, second half they defended very deep, and we sort of threw it at them, kept going, but it just wasn't to be, was it, in the end?
Well, the chances were there. I mean, the opportunities were there, and we can all say if he was fit and if that player was there, they almost become better players when they're injured, because you automatically think that they're going to take the chances that we didn't. I thought Corbeau was, did very well again, worked very hard. Intensity was good. The second half, I just thought the tempo was better, and we disrupted their shape, their deep line block. I thought we disrupted it more, which allowed us to wriggle through the line a bit quicker, and it meant we got more crosses in the box, more shots, more opportunities, more set plays, more corners. So it just felt better, the speed of it, the energy of it. But we'll get there. We'll absolutely get there. And I think at times, a lot of the time, when you're playing against teams in any division, even in the league and the Premier League, you're reliant on sometimes the best players not being available and catching them at the right time. We did that. We had so many of those games last year where we caught teams at the right time where their best player was unavailable. And today, Reece Brown or Greg Cox they'd have been handy to have at our disposal.
But yeah.
Reece will be hopefully ready for Saturday.
Oh,
which
that's
is
good news.
Reece Greg Cox will hopefully be ready for Saturday, and that'll be a big plus because he's a terrific player.
Yeah. And finally, some interesting results today, some big results today, lots of goals scored, and so the season's hotting up in the league, and next week away at Hartlepool, so another long trip. We're getting a few long trips in earlier in the season, but hopefully there'll be a good number of fans up there. Yeah,
look, my message to supporters is always we absolutely love what they bring and what they do for us, but we have to understand, we're not this giant of a football club bulldozing our way through the league. We have to work at things very, very intelligently. We have to recruit at the right times, and at times there's more learning to be done than actual output. And I think we're in that phase still because of our imbalance. I think the opportunity to recruit now ahead of Saturday is high and strong, and we'll try and do that as we always do. But yeah, it's just to keep supporting the players, keep giving them energy, keep giving them that enthusiasm and that familiarity of what playing at the Laithwaite brings and how it feels. When you get that, that's an unstoppable force, as we saw last year.
Yeah, brilliant. Thanks, Darren. Thanks for your time.